Hey y'all, DBR back for another video, and this video should be a quick and simple one. It's kind of like a story time because I am going to tell you guys a story, but it is really my first car buying experience. And so about 5 months ago, on November 17th of 2018, which is my mother's birthday, by the way, I went and I bought a car, the same car that I'm sitting in now. Okay. 2008 Saturn Outlook. If you didn't see my video, I have a walk around video, and I also have a car tour that I did. The link will be in the description of this video. However, a lot of things happened 5 months ago when I first bought this car that I didn't disclose in the car tour or the walk around, clearly, because it's just me walking around the car and just showing you things without me saying anything. So here's the story with this car. As much as I love and adore my car, there has been so many things that I wish hadn't taken place that did take place. So I bought the car on November 17th. So picture it, 2018. I'm all excited about buying my first car, $10,000 cash, it's a big deal. And I'm signing all the paperwork. They had me sign as is paperwork. Now, be very careful, especially when the car hasn't been inspected by a mechanic. If the dealership tells you that it's been inspected by a mechanic, I would recommend you bringing a mechanic with you or asking them to take the car to your mechanic. Don't just take their word for it, because they told me that they had it looked at by their mechanic who services all of their cars that they sell, and that had to have been a lie, because later on I found out that this car had all types of issues, which we'll get into in just a moment. But always, that's lesson number one. Bring a mechanic with you no matter what they say, no matter, if you trust them or if you don't, or, there's red flags everywhere. When you're buying a car, there's red flags everywhere. That's just the mindset that you have to go into this with, that everyone isn't always a good person. All people aren't good people. And so I was just trusting because, I was excited. This is my first car. I'm paying cash for it. It's a really big deal. And I neglected to do certain things. I mean, yeah, I went on Car Gurus and I found the best deal, and I tried to find as low mileage as possible for an older vehicle, stuff like that. I did everything right according to my parents. It's just the fact that they didn't disclose certain things that they should have, and that's where we're at now. So my car was 3 feet underwater. Now, wow, like that just should just make you stop for a moment and picture that. A 7-seating SUV was 3 feet underwater, and underneath my seats, I don't know if you can see that, but right there, underneath the seat, underneath every seat, even these seats over here, these captain's chairs, the tracks that they sit on are all rusted out, and underneath my third row bench, everything is rusted out. All the metal has rusted out. And it had to have been sitting underneath water for quite some time for metal to rust like that. Metal just doesn't go rusty if it was sitting under there for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. It had to have been there for hours for it to have rusted out like that. So I had to WD-40 my tracks so the seats would slide forward and back like they're supposed to and recline like they're supposed to. This car was clean. Like, when I looked at it, it was clean. This is exactly what it looked like when I first went to go look at it. It's been clean. I touched it up a little bit, but I really didn't clean anything. Like, as far as the interior. The exterior, I had to, scrub by hand and wash and wax, and now it looks really good. But, so that was number one. Number two was they played with the odometer. So, this car really has 167,000 miles, but they advertised it at 130,000. They didn't really play with it. They didn't turn it back, because if you turn it back, that's a $10,000 fine. But at first, there's proof that it was advertised as, first it was advertised as 150,000. Then when that wasn't low enough to sell the car, they dropped it even more to 130,000, which is just false advertising, which you can get in trouble for that. But it's not like they touched the odometer and turned it back. They messed with the gauge and they took out the bulb. They took out the piece that can, so when you are looking through your gauge, like trip A and trip B and all of that, it wouldn't show you what the odometer is because they turned that off. They disengaged a lot of the lights, the warning signal. So if you were having an issue with your battery, you wouldn't know. If you were having an issue with the engine, you wouldn't know. If you were having an issue with your traction control, you wouldn't know, because they disabled all of those lights that are inside the gauge. Now, I fixed all of that and got all the lights working, and this car has a brand new engine and a brand new transmission now because I got 15 miles and the engine and transmission blew. So, well, not the engine. The engine was brand new from the previous owner, but the transmission blew. And transmissions don't just go. You've had to have been driving them incorrectly for a very long time and letting it go on and on without oil changes and all of this. You know, with all these issues for a transmission to just stop. I got 15 miles from Miami, from American Wholesale Autos in Miami. So, or no, wait, I think it's American Wholesale Auto, or Auto Wholesale, something like that. If you, and trust me, I'll be putting their information in the description. Do not buy anything from that dealership. Don't buy nothing from Miami, period. And I'm sorry to say that and group it into a whole, group it into like the whole city as bad people for car businesses. But there has been too many things, too many people that I know, too many mechanics have told me anytime you get a car from Miami, it's never a good thing. Broward is usually the route to go. Car dealerships that are used car dealerships, be very careful about what you sign as far as is. As is fine. That part wasn't, you know, a bother to me. You know, the windows on the passenger side didn't work. Okay, that's fine. I can get that fixed. That's a cosmetic thing. The power mirrors didn't work, but those are the only things that were really wrong with the car. So me buying it as is wasn't really a problem. But the reason the windows don't work is because it was 3 feet underwater. My speakers don't even work in this car, so I have to get a whole new sound system and stuff like that because the water level is so high up the door that the speakers don't even work. So, well, they do work, but it sounds funny, and they pick and choose when they want to come on. Sometimes I start my car and they work, and sometimes I do and they don't, or one works and the others don't, or, it's always something different, but I got to get the whole thing replaced anyways. So I just say that they don't work because they're not working as they should. So we did a revocation of acceptance, which is when you buy something and it's not what you paid for. Because if you can't use the car for its intended purpose to get you to point A to point B, it's not an as-is purchase. An as-is purchase are the little things that you need to get fixed. Like I mentioned, the windows and the speakers, those are the little things. But the whole operating system of the car, if the car is rendered unusable for its intended purpose, a car is supposed to get you somewhere, 2 places. And if it wasn't even doing that, so I had insurance on it. I had to cancel it, and the way the law is set up, if you cancel insurance, they suspend your license. They did all that. I amended that because that's not my fault that I bought a car that didn't work 15 miles later. So be very, very careful. I wish I had their. You know what? I think I do. Hold on a second. I think I do have their information. I'm going to show you guys. I think I have a business card from them. Let me see. I'm almost positive that I do. Hold on a sec. Let me see. And I'm calm about it now because it was so long ago and I don't need to be beating a dead horse. It's over. It's done with. I got the car fixed. It's fine now. But it's not fine because they took advantage of a 19-year-old, and I paid for this car, cash with hard-earned money, and they, they were really, really wrong for doing what they did. Oh, I don't have their car. Well, I'll put their information let me see here. Yeah, I'm going to put their information somewhere in the description of the video, because I don't have their card anymore. I don't believe I do. I have one of their cards, but it's in the house, and I don't feel like going to get it. But, yeah, American Auto Wholesales. That's what it is, Incorporated. And I left a negative review on Google. I left a negative review on Google about everything that's happened. We called them the same day it was having problems, and said, this is what's happening. They said, oh, well, you can bring it back for an exchange. So we towed it back to them, and they refused to accept it. So they said, oh, we need to get it back in the condition we gave it to you in, which was shitty condition. So how the fuck am I going to give you back something that wasn't working correctly when you gave it to me? I test drove the car for maybe, I want to say a minute, because it was only around the block, okay? And it just makes me really frustrated, because for you to know that there's a transmission issue, the engine has to get hot. The transmission has to get hot for you to realize. And as soon as I got it hot, then all these warnings, this idle engine, hot, was coming up on my gauge, and I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, but why am I not seeing any other signals? I'm just seeing the words come up, and it's because they had disabled all those other lights. When I bought it from them, it had a flat tire. I told them about it, thinking that they were going to fix it before I came back for pickup, because the day I bought the car, they didn't even let me leave with it because it had a bad terminal. And when the car has a bad terminal, or a rusted terminal, and it had a rusted terminal because the car had been underwater, when it has a bad terminal, it can't keep the battery in place, and the battery is what gives the car power. So I needed a whole new battery, and they said they put in a brand new one, but it wasn't brand new according to the guy that fixed it. It was like a used battery that they put in there that we had to pay for as well. So they're just extreme crooks out there, and I just want anybody to know, if they're going through anything similar to this, you can always feel free to reach out to me, and I'll let you know the way I dealt with mine. Yes, we are suing. Yes, we're in the process of that. We're not even doing small claims. We're going to do it in civil court, and it's a big deal. My aunt's a lawyer, so she's on the case. She's never lost a case for us. So, and this is it's a pretty much open and shut case, because the Florida code says that you cannot sell a car that way when the whole operating system is bad. So we went, through every legality there is, every legal rule, every legal statement. We're using the law to the best of our advantage as far as buying lemons in the state of Florida. But now, the car is fixed $5,000 later, so that's another $5,000 I've put into this car, and it's working fine, and I've had it for an entire week, and it's doing what it's supposed to do, and I couldn't be happier with my car choice. But I just wish that I hadn't have bought it from such dishonest people that really ruined my first car buying experience. So be very careful, and do as much research as possible, and bring a mechanic with you, a mechanic that knows what they're doing, and never take anybody's word for it when they say that something has already been taken care of. It won't hurt to do it twice. It won't hurt to do it 3 times. Just do it. Because if I had done that and I didn't get so caught up in my excitement of buying my first car, I guarantee you it wouldn't have ended up this way. And basically that's it. This is basically just a PSA for anybody who's buying a used vehicle under an as-is clause, because as-is clause can be revoked, they can be manipulated, they can be stretched, and people use as-is clauses to manipulate other people, which are usually young people. So just letting any other young person know, be very careful when they pull out as-is paperwork, and make sure you've done your due diligence before. I'm not saying every as-is purchase is bad, but I'm just letting you know that not all people are good people, period. That's pretty much it. So stay perfectly imperfect until I see you next time. Bye.